even matter. I'm wearing an Arizona Cardinal sweatshirt. It doesn't even matter. My dad texts me and goes, "Do you think the state of Arizona would pay you to not root for their teams because you're such a snake-bitten loser?" It hurts, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong. All right, welcome back to another Detroit Pierce podcast. The Rams and the Cardinals are just ending right now, so I'm recording the podcast. I went to a little Cardinals watch party here in Phoenix, Arizona, so I got the Arizona Cardinals sweatshirt. And before you say anything like, "Oh, don't you root for the Lions? Don't you root for the Lions? Hey, you can't root for two teams." Dude, I'm at a bar. I can't wear Lion stuff to a bar with the Cardinals on, all right? Grow up. I root for the Arizona team because I live here, okay? Grow up. Who cares? And it's sad. It's sad because I'm like, I legitimately just want one team. I just want one team that is like extremely good. And the Suns are good, but I just want one team that I can root for consistently, that it brings me happiness. And I can't, I'm legitimately trying to find it. I'm struggling. I've tried to adopt Michigan State. Then they lose the Northwestern. It just sucks. Everything sucks. I hate being a sports fan. And so this is why I do this. I vent into a microphone for nobody to listen to, but that's why we do it. This is why I do it, is so that I don't feel crazy at the end of the day. But NFL playoffs this weekend. We had a great weekend filled with football. Let's go into it. Let's just break it down game by game. I'll start off first. Bengals, Raiders. I don't know how you fire that Raiders coach. I don't understand how you can even fire that coach. He gave out handwritten letters to all of his players. He rallied them behind after everything that happened this year. Like, they're talking about getting rid of Mike Mayock and the coach. Like, I just don't get it. Somebody's got to explain that to me. Like, yeah, they're not the flashiest thing, but they went 10-7 this year, made the playoffs. And honestly, if they're a call or two away from beating the Bengals in Cincinnati, and the Bengals are going to be good. I don't know. I'd be a little hesitant about firing your coach and GM because they've obviously built something great and they're obviously doing something right. So I don't know. Give it to the Bengals. I'm happy for them. It makes me extremely jealous seeing the Bengals do that because I'm like, Detroit, one day we'll have that moment and it'll be so amazing. Then the Saturday night game, Bills-Patriots, first time ever in history of the NFL where the team goes down the field every single time and scores without turning the ball over. I'm a Barstool guy, but seeing Dave and seeing all these Barstool Boston people talking about how miserable they are because the team lost, can't lie, that makes me feel good about myself. It does. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of watching one city win every single thing. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I want them to lose a little bit. Get humbled down a little bit, all right? Feels good. And I'm happy for the Bills, man. How do you not love Josh Allen? How do you not love those fans? It's awesome. It's awesome to see them win like that. Then Eagles, Bucks. Bucks dominated the whole entire way. That was obvious. And then the next game after that, 49ers, Cowboys. I have said this forever. Kyle Shanahan is a top 5 coach. He's as good as it gets when it comes to being a coach, I think. I think he's a great X's and O's, and I think he's a great offensive mind. He is not going to lose in the playoffs when he has a running back room like he has with Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, and he's not going to lose by a lot. He's going to keep it close, and if he's in the lead early on, he's going to win that game. And that's what the Cowboys learned. And no duh, Mike McCarthy has a team that doesn't play defense and is poorly coached and makes really bad mistakes. No duh. Everybody in the NFC North could have told you that's what was going to happen. You're an idiot if you thought anything else, right? Mike McCarthy got carried by Aaron Rodgers early on in his career and then completely was just a terrible play caller and a even worse game manager. Come on, dude. We all saw this coming. It was a terrible hire. And honestly, just like I said with the Raiders, I don't understand how you could fire him. I don't understand how you could keep Mike McCarthy. I mean, yeah, they went 12-5 in the worst division in the whole entire league. But you have that awesome roster, and you're not going to do anything with it. You're just not. I'm sorry. That you're just not going to. Here's Kyler Murray pass. Boy, is he good. Everybody craps on Kyler Murray, but he's good. Then you got the Steelers and the Chiefs. Chiefs dominate the whole entire way. and then the Rams, Cardinals, and the Rams dominate the whole entire way. Kind of a lackluster weekend with how many beatdowns there were, except for the Bengals and the 49ers, but kind of a lackluster weekend. But that makes for a great weekend, I think, coming up next week, right? I'm looking at the AFC, and you got Bengals, Titans, Chiefs, Bills, right? That's just the AFC. And like I've said about the AFC, they have 10 teams that could win the Super Bowl, like that could go make it to the Super Bowl, right? You can make that case. And I seriously have bought all of the Joe Burrow stocks and bonds, and I've bought all of the Jamar Chase stocks and bonds, and I think that they beat Tennessee. I think that they just beat Tennessee next week, and I think that it's going to be Bills-Chiefs, and I think that's going to be a barn burner that nobody can miss, and I think whoever comes out of that, it's going to be amazing. Bengals versus Chiefs and Bengals versus the Bills. That's an amazing matchup for any NFL watcher. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. Then we go to the NFC next week. We got Packers, 49ers, Bucks looking like Rams, right? I'm going to say this real quick. I don't count the 49ers out against Green Bay. Just don't. Because if the 49ers are up and their defense is playing solid against Aaron Rodgers, don't count them out. Because that Green Bay defense has holes in it. And I would not count out Kyle Shanahan against Matt LaFleur. All right? I'm just saying. It's not a done deal. I would not. I would like to see the line, but I feel pretty confident in the 49ers to cover at least 10 points because I guarantee you that's somewhat of a line. I think I just have a man crush on Kyle Shanahan. I'm looking at the line right now. I'm trying to find it. I think it's literally just the fact that I have a man crush on Kyle Shanahan. The line is 5.5. Now I'm thinking about it. I would take the 49ers plus 5.5. I really would. I think that they can keep the game close at the very least. I would take 5.5 right now. 10 was crazy. But then we go over to the Bucks Rams. And look, I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl. This year. And gosh darn it, that defense looked really good tonight. Matt Stafford didn't look terrible. Cam Akers is back and he looks good. In Tampa Bay, it's a scary game. That's a scary, scary game. And I'm taking the Rams. I think the Rams beat the Bucks. I really think it. I think they've got, and call me crazy, but I love Matt Stafford so much. And by the way, before now that I'm kind of ending the topic, I want to say this real quick. To anybody that's like, oh, I can't believe you're rooting for Matt Stafford. Don't you understand that makes the draft pick worse? Screw you, man. Matt Stafford deserves a Super Bowl for everything he's put up with us. Screw that. I hope he wins a Super Bowl. I hope he wins. It'd be amazing. All right. So, in short, this is my predictions for next week. Bengals, and then give me the Chiefs, and then give me the 49ers to beat the Packers, and give me the Rams. Yeah, we're going upset city next week for myself. Ooh, that'd be a good parlay. I might do that. That would be a pretty good parlay. All right. Moving on. College basketball. Crazy weekend in college basketball. We got Baylor losing at home to OK State. We got USC losing at home to Oregon. We got Northwestern being up and dominating the whole entire way against Michigan State at Michigan State. We got Arkansas beating LSU. And we got Kansas State over Texas Tech. And we've got Purdue and Illinois that happened on Monday. We've got all that. It's college basketball season now. It is. I'm starting to watch it. I've always got a game on. It's college basketball season. It's time. It is. And it's fun to watch. This year is crazy. And I think the reason why that college basketball is so good is because we have the G League, and the G League is much more prevalent for high schoolers to just make that jump to the pros. I've always been a fan of not having that one hit wonder, the 1 year and then go to the pros. I think it makes for a better college game when you have a lot of players that are trying to actually develop in a 4-year program. Right? I think it makes the game better, and I think it makes it more fun for us, right, as fans. I think that college basketball will always be there, even if they don't have the one-and-done rule, and I think I think it just makes the game better and a little bit more parity. You get teams like Baylor who have this great recruiting class and that develops really well together, and that they're good and solid for 2 years together, and I think everybody's a senior on that team. But you get the point. I love the fact that we just have the G League be more prevalent and let these kids play. honestly. But with that, there's a ton of parity, right? At the beginning of the season, I picked Illinois or Michigan State to win the national championship. It's going to be tough for the Big Ten to win. The Big Ten is super weak this year. But right now, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the top 25. I've got a buddy who's always trying to convince me that UConn's going to win the national championship. I've got like 10, 12 teams that can win the national championship, I think. I think that there's like 10 or 12 teams that can actually win the national championship this year. It makes it crazy. Gonzaga, Auburn, Arizona, Purdue, Baylor, Duke, Kansas, UCLA, Houston, Villanova, Kentucky. Shoot, Iowa State. Iowa State's good. These are all teams that can win the national championship. Why not? But just like for college football, I'm going to do it for college basketball. Here is my top 4 right now. I think for me, I like Arizona to be my number 1 team. I think Arizona is the best team in the country. I watched them against Illinois a couple weeks ago, and they are really freaking good. Really freaking good. I think for number 2, I've got Gonzaga. I think that they play the most complete game of basketball. I think they've got stars on all 5, and I think they got Hunter Salas, who's their 6th man, who's a good point guard. They're really strong, and I think they can make a run if they have good guard play. And I think Chet Holmgren, even though he was the number 1 player out of high school, I think he's the most overrated player. I mean, I did say Zion Williamson would be a bust, and I think this Chet's a bust. He's skinnier than me. Then for 3, I got Auburn. And then for 4, I've got a mix of like 7 different teams. But after today, kind of recency bias, I think I would put Purdue in. I've always struggled with that 4th. I think I'll put Purdue in as my 4th. But yeah, that's my top 4. Tell me what your top 4 is. I always struggle with the 4th spot. It's always awkward. Cincinnati for football. Now it's like Kansas, Duke. I don't trust Duke. Their best player sweats 5 pounds every day. It's insanity. I was asked earlier this week, who do I think is going to win the Big Ten this year? And I think that there are 5 teams that can win the Big Ten, and then there's this just enormous stretch for 5. I think there's 5 teams that can win the Big Ten, and then there's this huge gap, and then there's this huge gap, and then there's Nebraska. Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Purdue can all win the Big Ten this year. To note, Illinois is 6-1 without their star point guard. Just makes it scary. They're 6-0 without their star point guard. They had him today, so they're 0-1. I'm just saying, makes for a scary, scary team in the Big Ten. They could definitely win. I think Michigan State has shown a lot of flaws. I think Wisconsin has 1 guy. I think Ohio State is just not up to par with those other 4, and I think the favorite would be Purdue. But I just don't like Matt Painter teams. I think that they underperform every year, and so I'm just not a big Purdue guy, right? Ivy's great. The tall drink of water that they have is great, but I'm just not a huge Purdue guy this year. All right, switch to topics. NHL Wings win today against the Sabres. Huge comeback win in overtime. Dylan Larkin, just 2 absolutely great goals. Ton of fun to watch. Every single time I come on here, I look at the standings and I try to convince myself, to convince you guys, to convince me, to convince you guys that they're going to make it the playoffs this year. They've played 40 games. The Bruins have played 35, and we're down 5. So we've played 5 more games than the Bruins, and we're down 5 points. It's a tall order. It's just a tall order. And I just don't think we can do it, and that's okay. We just have to admit to ourselves that having a team that's fun in January and February, that's what we're really asking for, and that's what they're giving us. Can we make it? Sure, I'm sure we can, but it's going to take time. You got to start winning some games now, to be honest with you. You're just going to have to. Then in the NBA, Cade Cunningham against the Suns gets ejected for a dunk and pointing at his friends on the sideline. Talk about the dumbest ejection ever. The game is a complete blowout. It's 89-69 when he gets thrown out, and then he gets ejected for dunking the ball. I don't care if Cade Cunningham did a backflip off of the scorer's table. Grow up. It is a 30-point game. You can't let this dude have just a little bit of fun. Grow up. Grow up. It's insanity. Insanity. All right, final thoughts. This is kind of a dumb final thought, but it really irked me. Here in Arizona, you can get ice cream anytime, anywhere, right? So I've been craving soft serve ice cream, okay? And I went to the ice cream shop. There's a little store right by our house, and it's just this little stand, and it said vanilla, prickle pear, and twist. And let me tell you something, soft served. And let me tell you something, nothing better than a twist ice cream cone. Twist soft serve always hits the spot. I don't care. It was 58 degrees. It was perfect. Okay? I get the twist. It's prickle pear and vanilla was the twist. And before you say, oh, duh, Pierce, there wasn't chocolate on the options. I feel as though if it says twist, it is assumed by every single American in the world that that's chocolate and vanilla. For you to do prickle pear and vanilla, that's as bad as it gets. That's criminal. That's criminal. I'm sorry to be that guy, but somebody needs to be locked up. I'm still upset about that. That happened 4 hours ago, and I'm still very upset about this. How the hell do you have twist ice cream and have it be prickle pear and vanilla? How is that even possible? Who I can't be the only one that just did that too. I can't be the only one that just sat there and been like, yeah, that actually threw me through a loop. No, every single person that gets twist there is pissed off, and I'm included. I'm not going to name the business. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take down a business. That's not my style. I'm just saying I'm upset, and if you own an ice cream spot that has soft serve and you put twist on the board and it's not vanilla and chocolate, I hate you. But if you say twist and then like in parentheses say these are the twist, that's fine. That's my fault. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm still upset about that. I just wanted twist ice cream. Shoot me. All right. God bless. Go Detroit Sports. And thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell your friends about the podcast. I really enjoy this. I enjoy doing this for you guys. I enjoy doing it for me. I enjoy all the laughs that we have together and all of the DMs and all the tweets. Even the one guy that keeps tweeting at me, "You're married." I love those. I love that guy. So I appreciate you. God bless. Go Detroit Sports.